segregation of interstate bus facilities was unconstitutional, John and Bernard LaFayette bought 2 tickets, climbed aboard a Greyhound, sat up front, and refused to move. This was months before the first official freedom rides.
You, as a person, need to examine your personal life. And one of the things that you observe is that you have problems in your family. Because you can't tell folks how to live. All you can do is decide how you're gonna live. And you don't have control over what the other family members are gonna do. How they gonna act, what they gonna say. But you have to, number one, decide what kind of life you're gonna live. And you've got to decide what example you're gonna be. Because you can't determine, okay, what somebody else gonna do in life. All you got to do is decide how you gonna live, and the way you live should be an example of how you want others.
Thank you for your presence here tonight as we celebrate a very special event for a very special testament of living history here with us this evening, Dr. Bernard LaFayette Jr. Again, I am attorney Tina Patterson, the president and director of research here at the PuLSE Institute. Welcome. But tonight, we honor and celebrate someone who didn't study it, wasn't learning about it in school, but from the primary source, from someone who lived it and endured it and who overcame it. And is still, to this day, a fresh source of wisdom to our generation as we build upon the legacy of our past to elevate the quality of life for the next generation and all generations to come. Especially from the beginning, from the founding of the PuLSE Institute, Dr. LaFayette has been a ready help to share his knowledge. He's been a pillar of inspiration to us all as he still travels the world teaching about the application of nonviolent principles, as well as continuing to keep alive the legacy of Dr. King through his chairmanship at the SCLC. So with that, it is our honor tonight to welcome him and his guests as our guests in this very special event, and to hear from him as he pours out his incredible wisdom and his story with us in this moment. I encourage you to listen intently and sincerely. This moment in history will not return this way again. So on behalf of the Institute, our board, our founding dean and editor-in-chief, Franklin Thompson, as the president and director of research, but also as the little girl who grew up learning about the civil rights movement from a Black father born in the Jim Crow South in Tuskegee, Alabama, from a girl who at age 12 decided to become an attorney to right the historical wrongs of the law, and from now, the attorney, the president, woman in position of leadership, who now has the extreme privilege and responsibility to do just what she set out to do because of the sacrifices you made.
The first time I met Dr. LaFayette was in 2010, and it was through Bankole Thompson, our founder. And I remember us having a lunch with Dr. LaFayette, and he was telling us many stories about their exploits in the civil rights movement. And I really admired his simplicity, his humility. He didn't look down on us. He did not, treat us as if we were kids. He embraced us and wanted to impart some knowledge and wisdom on us, and we did receive that impartation from a senior member of our community. And so I was so pleased when Bankole reached out to him to come to this event today, to be honored, to be celebrated, deservedly, because of all the great things that he has done to move us forward as a society. And I am quite pleased that he was one of the first persons that Bankole called when this institute was founded to join the National Advisory Board. And since then, he has offered tremendous support to us in many respects.
It's wonderful to be with all of you this evening in honor of Dr. Bernard Lafayette, who I had great pleasure to spend with him and his wife this afternoon. We spent a couple hours, beautiful hours together, and I thank you for that. He was a pivotal, as you've heard, civil rights leader and a steadfast advocate for nonviolent resistance. Tonight we've come together not only to pay tribute to Dr. Lafayette's extraordinary contributions, but also to reflect on the historical significance of the civil rights movement and the brave sacrifices so many have made to fight for equality. Meeting him in person and hearing his stories and witnessing his unwavering dedication to the cause of civil rights was truly inspiring. So this evening, we're here to honor Dr. Lafayette, not only with our words, but with our actions, and continue to fight for the principles that he so valiantly upheld. And I want to say, Dr. Lafayette, it's really a pleasure to have met you a year ago. And when Bankole asked me to host this event, I was more than honored to do it because I thought, you know, the principles of nonviolence and humility and how you were able to change America along with your colleagues, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing that you've done in your life. One of the highlights of our trip was having the honor of meeting Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. in Montgomery, Alabama, and his wonderful wife. They were both there that evening, and we heard the story about his experience at the bus station that evening, and that was also a pretty compelling story. And his efforts during the Freedom Rides, his leadership in the voter registration project, and his enduring commitment to nonviolence serve as a guiding light for all of us.
Dr. Bernard Lafayette, one of the most important figures in the history of American civil rights, but in global civil rights history. A living giant, the man, one of the few trusted lieutenants of Dr. King who is still alive. When Nelson Mandela, whom President Obama called the last liberator of the 20th century, was released from prison, one of the first people that Nelson Mandela met after he gave the baccalaureate speech at Morehouse was Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. Dr. Lafayette has been a remarkable and a giant of history, but very humble. And he always talked about the importance of helping young people. He said the movement has to invest in the youth. The movement has to move forward. It cannot be stagnant. And so his humility has been just incredible for me. And he has been a friend and a good mentor. When the PuLSE Institute was founded, we were looking for individuals to be on the National Advisory Board. And we got Sister Simone Campbell, who was then an ally very close to Pope Francis, on the board. So Dr. Lafayette was the first individual who actually came on a National Advisory Board. So, and I had a conversation with Dr. Lafayette. I said, you know, I remember meeting Arun Gandhi through you. He said, yeah, Arun. I said, is it possible? Can we request for Arun to be on a National Advisory Board? He said, let me think about it. He calls me the next day and gives me the cell phone of Arun Gandhi, the fifth grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, Arun said, call him. So I pick up the phone. Before you know it, Arun Gandhi and I were texting each other. And to this day, I think I kept that cell phone as living history. This is Arun Gandhi, whose grandfather is on the face of the Indian currency, a nation with 1 billion people. But Arun Gandhi and Dr. Lafayette are like brothers. So he said, Arun said, call him. So I called Arun Gandhi. And Arun Gandhi started talking as if the PuLSE Institute has been around for 5,000 years. He said, it's an honor to be in the National Advisory Board. I said to myself, I have to hold myself back. I said, hold on. I am speaking with Dr. Arun Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's grandson.
So I was down in Selma, Alabama, and they So I couldn't get any work done down there thinking about what's happened to my other snake folk. So I decided that I needed to work on the immediate problem. Sometimes you have to stop working on long-term problems and work on the immediate problems so it won't be a long-time problem. Sometimes you have to delay your plans in order to fulfill greater plans. I was supposed to have been going to Selma, but I had to delay my Selma trip in order to go and take care of that. And it's one thing I want to correct also. I have a friend of mine, Charles Alphin, and he's a policeman out of St. Louis. And when we got the movement going in St. Louis, he started giving his attention to the movement. Still does, okay? He's tremendous. Charles Alphin, okay? Now, as we go forward, what we want to do is remember that it's important that we realize that every profession provides an opportunity for confession and then to turn things around. You know what? As a result of this, Charles Alphin in St. Louis, we were able to get him to embrace nonviolence, and he is one of the greatest nonviolent trainers that we got. He's been all over the world with me, different places. And what happened is that they, one of the inmates up there in St. Louis, in the house where he was, this inmate was, he had kidnapped a person in their own house. There was an inmate. So ordinarily, policemen surround places and they have sort of procedures and they go through and, you know, that kind of thing, etc. No. You know what we did? We made sure that the people who went in tried to negotiate had left their radio on. An inmate had broken into the person's house and left the radio on. So therefore, we hit the radio station and we could talk to and negotiate, okay, with the criminal who was in the house. Now, I'm not telling you to leave your radios on, okay? But the reason why the resident left the radio on is because, and you always learn things, that you were actually causing your plants in the house to vibrate. And that was a way of keeping them alive. Okay? Yeah. So he went to the radio station and got them to put on certain music in order to communicate with the inmate who was in the house. Isn't that something? Yeah. Music helped the plants grow. Yeah. And so Charles Alphin went and got the radio station to allow him to talk to, okay, the inmate. And then John took off his belt and his guns, knocked on the door, and he had communicated with him on the radio, so he let him go inside. He took his belts off and everything. And that's how he was able to talk the fellow out of, having his gun. So he put his gun down and brought him out. So there are different approaches you can use to make about different things. And when I was in jail, for example, Charles started adding up the number of times I was arrested. And I can say it was
27 times.
no. I was arrested 27 times, but when I was on the freedom rides in Jackson, Mississippi, I was arrested. Jim Bevel and I got arrested and put in solitary confinement. So therefore our jail record escalated for the times we were in those, it added up to 30 times. And guess what? In Alabama, I got a phone call one time, and it was from the police station. Somebody doing research from the police station, and they wanted to know if I wanted my arrest record to be changed. Yeah, they wanted to erase my arrest record. Yeah. And you know what I told them? No, thank you.
Thank you. It is my distinct honor to accept the award on behalf of our Chancellor, Dr. Curtis L. Ivory. Again, as mentioned, he could not be here. He's recovering from hip surgery. And I don't know if you all know Dr. Ivory like we know Dr. Ivory, but he doesn't stop. There's no hip surgery that's going to hold him down. But we keep telling him, the doctor said at least 6 months to sit still, and he won't listen to us. But thank goodness today we said, let us come here, let us represent you, and take care of this for you. But these things is gratitude for sure. Thank you.
So and I'm going to ask Jerry, our dinner chair, to come forward. Tina, our president, Pascal, our board chair. Dr. Lafayette, we want you closer here to the podium. And what we want to do now is to honor him and recognize him. He's received many awards. I think we know that. But this is our way of saying thank you for what you have done. Thank you for the long walk to freedom. Thank you for standing in the gap. For many of us would not be in these jobs without the sacrifices that he made. Thank you for being a voice in the wilderness, crying, compelling the nation to pay attention to the needs of Black folk and other people of color and all folk. Thank you for being a universal champion of justice. Thank you for those difficult nights in the South. Thank you for the foresight, for surviving an assassination attempt. Thank you for everything you've done, for being one of Dr. King's trusted lieutenants that he trusted. Being with him 5 hours in Memphis in his hotel before he was assassinated. And when he left that hotel room, Dr. King sent him to Washington, D.C. to go make plans for the Poor People's Campaign. So Dr. Lafayette has given the world so much, and he continues to give the world more. And I tell him anytime I talk to him, he reminds me, he says, sometimes I forget things. I said, well, my hope and prayer is that you would continue to be around us for a long, 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 long time. And so I know today we celebrated. He's going to be 85 years younger just in a few days. So what we're doing is we're going to present him with the PuLSE Institute's Global Civil Rights Leadership Award, presented to Dr. Bernard LaFayette Jr., Chairman of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, July 22nd, 2025. The Global Civil Rights Leadership Award from the PuLSE Institute. Dr. LaFayette. And this has been the sum total of his life. He tells us about globalizing the civil rights movement, ensuring that people around the world know what the civil rights movement has done. And there's nobody who I think embodies that definition and deserves that Dr. Bernard LaFayette with our Global Civil Rights Leadership Award. Let's give him a round of applause again.
Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound